the cold wind cut through the busy evening streets of Lahore. People hurried past, eyes glued to their phones, bags in hand, minds elsewhere. But among the noise and rushing footsteps stood a small boy with a worn-out violin. His fingers trembled from the chill, yet his eyes glowed with quiet determination. His name was Rayan, and at just 12 years old, life had already tested him in ways no child should endure. His mother lay in a hospital bed, weak and pale, needing surgery they couldn't afford. His father had died years ago, and there was no one left to help. So Rayan took the only thing his father had left him, an old violin, and walked to the street corner where the city lights met the darkness. When he first placed the violin under his chin, his hands shook. People barely noticed him. Some stared briefly, others frowned. But then he began to play. It was a soft tune, sad, beautiful, and filled with everything his heart couldn't say. The melody floated through the air like a whisper of hope. The chatter of the crowd softened. A few people slowed down. Some stopped. Coins began to clink into his open violin case. A child tugged her mother's sleeve, pointing at him. "Mama, he plays so beautifully," she said. Rayan smiled faintly but never stopped playing. Each note carried his love for his mother, each string spoke of sleepless nights, and every sound was a prayer. By the end of the evening, his fingers were red and sore, but his case held enough for a few medicines. Not nearly enough for the operation, but it was something. He whispered, "We'll get there, Mama. I promise." Day after day, he returned to the same street corner. Rain, wind, or cold, he played. People began to recognize him. Some came just to listen. A baker brought him bread one night. A shopkeeper slipped a few bills into his case when no one was looking. One evening, a man in a black coat stopped nearby. He listened quietly until Rayan finished his song. Then he clapped softly and said, "That was beautiful, young man. Where did you learn to play like that?" "My father taught me," Rayan replied shyly. "He used to play in small cafes before he passed away." "My father taught me," Rayan replied shyly. "He used to play in small cafes before he passed away." Rayan nodded and began once more. When the final note faded, the man smiled and handed him a card. "I'm Mr. Faisal, a music producer. Come see me tomorrow. Let's talk about your talent and your story." Rayan's heart raced. Within weeks, his music spread across social media. The story of the street violin boy who played to save his mother. Donations poured in. His mother's surgery was done successfully. Months later, Rayan stood on a real stage, violin in hand, lights shining on him. In the front row, his mother watched with tears in her eyes. And as he played that same melody, the one born from pain and love, the audience rose in silence, listening to the sound of a boy who turned struggle into song.